Hey everybody, welcome back to Fifth Quarter Sports. I'm your host Ed, and today wanted to do a special video because the playoffs do start today. As of recording right now, in an hour or two, the first actual playoff game is gonna start. So I wanted to do a video for you guys, something for y'all to look over. I wanted to rank these playoff series in the first round based off of how entertaining they are, how much I'm gonna be tapped into those, and then you can take my opinions. Go in the comments if you don't agree with me, but this is my list. But now, before we get into that list, I want to talk about the play-in tournament, especially the Hornets and Heat game. The Hornets and Heat game was entertaining down to the wire, like one of the best games I've seen, and probably the best playing game I've tuned into, me personally. And honestly, yeah, it was like one of those games that gets you excited for the playoffs. Like LaMelo Ball at the end with the layup, even after turning it over, Kobe White with the crazy shot, Miles Bridges with the block. It was an entertaining game going all the way down. Unfortunately, Bam did get hurt, and I do believe that play by LaMelo Ball was a bit dirty. But shout out to the Hornets and the Heat for giving us a really entertaining game. Also, the Clippers and the Warriors was entertaining all the way down to the wire as well. Me personally, I thought the Clippers was going to come through and win, but when you have Steph Curry on your team, anything is possible. And going to the games from last night, the Magic and the Hornets game, I wish was a little bit more competitive, but as you can see, the Magic, after that loss to the Sixers, they felt like they were more prepared for this one, and they showed it. They took over the paint offensively. They locked them down defensively. The Hornets just didn't have no answers, and they looked really, really young. The Hornets were really, really young and inexperienced. So hopefully next year they come back in the playoffs, because I really wanted them to be in this first round matchup against the Pistons, but unfortunately not. And as to the Suns and Warriors, the Suns came out with the win. Jalen Green had an amazing game, phenomenal game, so they get to move on and face the Thunder. And I would say for me, the playing was pretty entertaining. I would say the first two games were more entertaining than the games to get the final seed, but it was a really entertaining playing. But now to move on to what we're here to talk about, which is the playoffs. So I came up with a list ranking the first round series based off how entertaining I found it and the matchups, and see which ones that I would actually be wanting to delve into. So let's get right into it. In the last place, I'm going to have the Thunder and the Suns. Honestly, the Thunder has already won the championship. They're a championship team. They've proven it. I think everybody's just waiting for them to get back to at least the conference finals to face somebody like really worth their time, I would say. But yeah, I see the season series was 3-2. So the Suns won two games. One of them SGA did not play, but one of them SGA did play. Goodwin had a good 26-point game and was able to hold the Thunder to 105. So they did pretty good defensively, and it was a good game for them. But in all honesty, I don't think that is going to replicate when it comes to playoff time. So I believe the Thunder have the overwhelming advantage when it comes to talent and also experience. The Suns are just not ready yet. But there is a good upside to the Suns if Jalen Green keeps developing and Dylan Brooks continues to be a good focal point for the team. And Devin Booker himself might come up with a game that might push the series to 5. I don't see it going any more than 5. I'm expecting a sweep, something along that nature. But that's my last place for the games this upcoming playoffs. So moving up from that, I'll go with my Celtics and the 76ers. So Celtics and Sixers have like a budding, I would say, quote unquote rivalry, I would say, but I don't think it's much of a rivalry because the Celtics, especially the past decade, have been beating them every time. But this time especially, Joel Embiid is not playing. Joel Embiid is out. He has injury on, I think, his appendix, I believe. He's not going to tap in this series. And Joel Embiid would probably have been their biggest advantage because the Celtics don't have that much of a dominance in the paint. So without him, it really is GG's for them. Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, Paul George, all good players in the wing, but the Celtics have wing defenders to cover those positions. So I feel like this is just an overwhelming mismatch. You know, the series is 2-2 during the regular season. Jason Tatum did not play in either of them games. So I believe this would be also a sweep. If anything, Tyrese Maxey might go off and get him one game. But that is also second to last on my list. So moving on to third from last, I would say the Spurs and the Trailblazers. So the reason I would say the Spurs this series is more entertaining than the other two, I would say, is because this is the first time the Spurs have gotten some playoff action with Wemby. So I want to see how this plays out. And the Trailblazers is a matchup they should be able to dominate. I believe the guard play of the Spurs is way too heavy, too much for the Blazers. And then we have Victor Wembanyama in the paint. It's GG's, honestly. Like, that defensive rating shoots up when he's on the floor. It's hard to get a basket, and it's hard to play around him. So, and I don't see anybody from the Blazers having that advantage over them. Shout out Algida. He's been pretty good, but I do feel like the Spurs do have Stephon Castle and bodies that they can throw in him to throw him off his game a little bit. And even if he has his type of games, I don't think that's going to be enough for the Blazers to be competitive in this series. So my entertainment factor in this series is more on just seeing how the Spurs are going to play and how they can manage the series. So moving on from there, I got the Cavs and the Raptors. The Cavs and the Raptors, this series to me, it's not like as entertaining because of like the matchup or anything. It's just that I believe that neither of these two teams are gonna be like are my championship contending for real. I do feel like the Cavs will win this series off of the backs of having Donovan Mitchell and James Harden. And I believe the Raptors are, although they're a really good defensive team and they have Brandon Ingram and Scotty Barnes, they just don't have enough like offensive firepower and also like star power to compete with the likes of Mitchell and James Harden. When Mitchell goes off for like 30 or 40 points, like they have no answer for that. Or James Harden, he doesn't even have to score too much this series for them to get them to win. So I feel like I'm pretty confident in that matchup, even though it's a 4-5. I can see the Raptors maybe pulling one game or two games, but in this series, I feel like the Cavs will just be too much for them. But this has been a good series for the Raptors, and I can definitely see them stealing a game, maybe two games, making it entertaining. So to move on, I will also go to the Pistons and the Magic. So moving on from there, the Pistons and the Magic. I know the Magic just barely got into the playoffs as the 8th seed. But in this situation specifically, I feel like the Magic can have the opportunity to prove to themselves that maybe the season isn't as bad as it has gone so far, because they have underachieved this season. I know they have dealt with their injuries with Wagner, but also the performance of Paolo has not been up to par this season. And this could be a perfect opportunity to turn things around and try to like scare the Pistons a little bit, especially now that Cade is just now coming back from his collapsed lung injury. We don't know if he's 100%. And this is the first time the Pistons have been in this position of being a 1 seed and having those expectations to win. So basing off of those things, there is a slight opportunity for the Magic to come in and make this a really good series. Although I still believe the Pistons can win this in probably 6 games. I feel like it will be more entertaining than people will have sought out for it to be, because of those factors being mixed in. So moving on from there, I'm going to go, this is our top 3 most entertaining series to me. I would say number 3 is going to be the Lakers and the Rockets. Yes, I do know the Lakers are without Austin Reeves and without Luka Doncic for an extended amount of time. But also I have gotten news that Kevin Durant is now questionable for game 1 with a contusion in his knee. I don't know how much this is going to affect the series. If he's going to play, then he's going to play, but I don't know how it's going to affect this game. So what makes this entertaining is because the Houston Rockets are a solid team, but they are very inconsistent. They have been pretty shaky this year. you can see how their offense can struggle a lot of times, especially when the ball is not in Kevin Durant's hands. So I would like to see how this would show up in a playoff format. And then you go against the Lakers, who without Austin Reeves and Luka don't have much of an offense besides LeBron James. And I feel like most people are kind of just like, a lot of people are talking on Twitter and saying, oh, maybe LeBron's got one more in him, one more crazy run in him. I don't know, maybe a game or two. But who knows? Maybe a game or two may be enough. A game or two where LeBron goes crazy and gets them a win. Let's say Luka comes back halfway through the series and makes this something entertaining. But I'm not counting on that. But this series may be more entertaining than it looks on paper. Because on paper, you would say AR and Luka are out, probably Rockets in 4 or 5. But I'm not even that confident in the Rockets for them to execute to that degree. So I would say like Rockets in 5 or 6, in my opinion. But let Luka come back. Let LeBron take away a game. Let Bronny take a game. Who knows, man? Let Bronny go in there, have his own game, take a game from the Rockets, and we'll see what goes on. Now, for my second place, is the most entertaining series for this first round. I would say the Knicks and the Rockets. Not the Knicks and the Rockets. The Knicks and the Hawks. The Knicks and the Hawks. So I feel like the Knicks and the Hawks are trending in opposite directions as well, I would say. The Knicks have these championship expectations, but how they have been playing as a team, they're still a pretty good team, but you can definitely see the holes in their chemistry and how they can go through certain phases where they look pretty dead. And on the opposite end, you have the Hawks. Since the trade deadline, they've just been booming. In the last 25 games, they're 16-9. Nickeil Alexander-Walker has been averaging a good 24 points a game since the All-Star break, and he has been killing it. So you pair that with Jalen Johnson, Kuminga, and the rest of the team. It's a lot to deal with. I say they have a lot of players on the wing that are pretty capable, a lot of wing defenders that can guard Jalen Brunson. Might move over to Cat or some, but I can see this series being very entertaining. I can see this being back and forth, a little bit of a reminiscent towards 2021 when the Knicks and the Hawks played. There's a little budding rivalry over there, so I can see this series being really entertaining. I can see this going the distance, going to 7 games, but I do believe the Knicks will still come out with the win on this one. But I do see the Atlanta Hawks making it a really good series. But now, on to my number one. My number one series this playoffs, this first round that I'm watching, that I'm tuning into, is the Wolves and the Nuggets. The Wolves and the Nuggets. That's the series that I'm tuning into. Why? Because they have history. They have history from 2024 and the years prior of going back and forth. These teams, they know each other like the back of their hand at this point. I can definitely attest to the fact that the Timberwolves have not looked as good this season. To be honest, maybe it's injuries. The roster isn't really the best. I feel like that's something I've complained about a lot. Ant doesn't have the best roster around him, but I do like them picking up Ayo Dosunmu. He's been a good addition to the team at the point guard. But also, the Nuggets have been going through their own fair share of struggles with injuries as well. But Jamal Murray and Jokic are still killing it. And on the Timberwolves side, Ant is still killing it, but he is just now coming off an injury. So don't know if he's going to be 100% going into this series, but I'm under the assumption he's going to be ready to play. And if he's going to be ready to play, he's going to make this a series. I feel like I cannot see this series being less than 6 games. If it ends up being a 5 or a sweep or something, I'll be very disappointed. I can definitely see this going back and forth. I remember their past matchups have been really good. Jokic is going to do his thing. They're going to tear through Gobert no matter what. But when you have a player like Ed that can be very impactful on the offensive and defensive end, you don't know what's going to happen. Even though the season series is 3-1 to Denver, the reason why I have this as my number one series is because of the history behind it and how competitive these teams are against each other. So at the end of the day, that is my list for the playoffs. I'm really excited for this year. I feel like I'm going to be tuned into each one of these games. I feel like we're going to have a lot of good moments happening in the first round. And, I'm rooting for my team, the Celtics. You see their chain back there. I'm ready to see how they do, but I'm ready to see how everybody else does. And I feel like this will be very entertaining this year. And that's all I got for you guys. Thank you for tuning in to my short video. Like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what your most entertaining series is. And I'm Ed. Thank you for tuning in to 5Q Sports. I'm out.